Hello, good morning, everyone. Okay, so I wanted to get on here and jam quickly about the Mercury retrograde. The Mercury retrograde cycle. Okay, so yesterday was the initiation of the actual alchemical Mercury cycle, okay? This is something that is not mainstream in a lot of mainstream astrology. You'll hear about Mercury stationing retrograde, Mercury stationing direct, and although those are very significant parts of the actual cycle, this really isn't taking into account the way that the alchemical process of what Mercury retrograde actually is about. Okay, and so absolutely Mercury is the planet. It is the deity, the force within us of magic and of alchemy and transformation. Transformation literally means to change your world, to change worlds. And so when we're in the Mercury retrograde cycle, that's actually what's happening. Is if you are choosing to initiate yourself and go on that journey, then you get to go into a whole other world, which is why I tend to look at it as it is like Alice going into the Wonderland, right? Like Alice going down that rabbit hole and really delving into the psyche, delving into the shadows of our psyche, into all of the repressed material within our psyche, which is actually the source of our power and of our creativity. It's the source of our sexuality. It is the key that actually gives us access to the whole. And for the whole, right? Like we're all wanting to be in the whole, right? Like that's what sexual energy is about, right? It's going back into the divine feminine, into that place of unity, right? Where we're home. It's coming back home. It's reclaiming the totality of your being, okay? That's why women, why so much, okay, the feminine is so powerful because it is everything. It is the whole, okay? It's how we make new life. So, all right, coming back to, so what this cycle is, what you need to know, if you want to transform your relationships, first and foremost, the relationship that you have to yourself is the foundational relationship that is going to be reflected in all of your significant one-on-one relationships, whether it be romantic, whether it be friendship, whether it be business, whatever you're in relationship to. It's a relationship to anything. It could be to money. It could be to your body. Okay. So, this Mercury retrograde cycle particularly though is focusing on our balance, meaning our home life balance, our work life balance, children to significant other balance, like all of the different kind of polarities that we might feel like, I want to be a working woman, I want to have a career, but I don't have enough time with my family, or I'm always with my kids. It's really hard for me to do everything I want to do with my kids and with my home and with my house. And so then my career, I have no career, or I have no sense of self-expression, or I have no time for me because, my partner always needs me, or I'm so absorbed in all of my relationships that I have no personal time for me, no alone time for me, and there's so many different ways, dynamics that this can play out. I'm just giving you a few of the most common ones where people feel out of balance, okay, in their life. So this is what this portal gives you the access to, is to transform that dynamic, right? We have an abundance of wealth in our life when we have an abundance of truth in our life. And our truth, is established by our borders and our boundaries, right? It's saying, this is me. My truth is, this is me. And everything that isn't me is out there, right? So there's a border and a boundary, meaning whatever it is that I value, I bring that into my sphere. I bring that into my home. I bring that into my body. I bring that into my life. And if I don't value it, meaning it's not serving me anymore, it's not in alignment with my truth, then it goes outside of me. I release it. I let it go. I move it out of my home. I take it out of my body. Okay. And so what's happening during the Mercury retrograde cycle is we're reevaluating these things. We're taking an opportunity to go down into our wholeness, into the repressed aspects of us, and actually look at, well, what is true for me now? Because we're always growing and changing, right? And if your life is, if you're in like you're stuck, right? Things aren't changing in your life, or there's a repeating pattern in your life where it's like, oh, this always happens to me. And if you're honest with yourself, I bet that you will see the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. And there's like a thread of a repeating pattern that will tend to innervate every single area of your life. And this has to do with the repressed shadow, right? Like the aspects in our psyche. And so this is what Mercury retrograde is inviting us to do. And so what is really common that happens a lot with like the typical, technological snafus and missing files, missing information, having, your car break down, your phone break down, all of these different things is because you're not in tune with you're not adapting to the shift in your environment, meaning, as above, so below, as within, so without. So what's happening above is Mercury is doing this backward trickster dance, right? And if you're not also engaging in that backward trickster dance, then what's happening is there's going to be all of this shit that's like coming up for you because you have blind spots. You're not seeing things that you would benefit from seeing. And so these things happen, it's kind of like it's a way for you to slow down and actually take the time. Because if you have a lot of this repressed stuff that you haven't been working through, then that's what tends to happen, right? It's all of these snafus to get you to like, I didn't notice this. I didn't see this. Wow. This was something that I wasn't being honest with myself about. And if you have been, like if you are really, really good at, doing your shadow work all of the time, because shadow work is never anything that's one and done. You will do it till the day that you die, because there is no end to the whole, to the yin, right? It's always there. There's always more for us to explore. So, there is, and that's why I laugh at like people that are like, like I've done so much work and da 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 da. It's like, it's never done. Like it's never done till you cease to exist, right? That's a whole other tangent for another topic. I'm not going to go into that. So, but coming back to, a lot of mainstream people are like, it's a time to slow down, right? Like don't start anything new. Don't initiate anything new. You need to slow down. And this couldn't be further from the truth. If you are in tune, if you are in flow with the cycle, the Mercury retrograde cycle, this can actually be a portal that takes you through wormholes. You know how like in science fiction where they're in outer space and they find a wormhole, which means they get to travel super, super fast? That's what this is. If you know how to ride it, if you know what you're doing, you know what to look for, you know you know how it operates, it is an opportunity for you to access a synchronicity highway. You can process through the junk in your trunk. You can process through and heal so many things so quickly. But you got to know how to access it, right? You got to know the terrain. You got to know how to play the game. And so, what is also very common is that, we will attract in people from our past, events from our past, whatever sphere that Libra, so this is happening in the sign of Libra, which is all about our personal relationships. So what is going to be common to come up is a lot of people bringing people from their past and getting to reevaluate, what did I love about this person? Why were they in my life? Or why aren't they in my life anymore? What is it about them that I don't value anymore, or I do value, or da 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 da, and so we're fine tuning, reflecting, we're actually even alchemizing our relationship to that person, place, or thing. So that's something very common, is for past relationships, people contacts, business contacts. It could be, and remember, it's also where you have Libra. So that sphere of life. So if you know your astrological chart, you want to look at what house does Libra fall in for me, because it's going to be that area of life that's going through rapid transformation. And this is the third cycle of this year. So this is actually it is coming to what's called in alchemy, the Conjunctio, which is the Heiro Gamos, or the divine marriage, where we're actually if we've been doing the work, if you've been doing the great work, of the Philosopher's Stone and turning the lead of your soul into gold, this is the part of where the divine masculine and the divine feminine come together in that divine marriage. And so, and it's not, and I think that's also a really beautiful symbolism, is that it's also happening in the sign of Libra. Libra also rules our culture, right? It's our social sphere. So look around your world. What's the big thing that we're all seeing is like this big divide in our culture. People that are this and the people that don't do that, and people that are in the left and people that are in the right, right? So there's this massive like fight, quote unquote, or this division happening. And so the gift and the opportunity, if you choose to do this, is to unite that, because the fact that this is happening outside in our world is a reflection of where this is happening inside each and every one of us individually, right? There's an individual chasm or gap between uniting our masculine and our feminine, and becoming less polarized, becoming less dualistic, right? Like, we absolutely live in a dualistic world. That's the whole reason we came here, to experience duality, right? And I think it's kind of like this, kind of like this cosmic joke where people try to, bypass, the duality and the gifts of the 3D realm. We came here to experience it all. And so this is the source and the reason, and the work that I am doing within Gapped Out, which is the Mercury edition of Star Disco, Astro Magic and Fitness for Sexy Witches. This is alchemy. It's a magical lifestyle of alchemy and magic and transformation, but also beauty and fitness and fashion and style and, living your life like by your star signature, branding your life with your star signature, becoming the star, right? Like owning that we're all stars and we all came here to shine our love light and to dance in the most fabulous disco party this world has ever known. This is the essence of Star Disco. And so in Gapped Out, what this whole, alchemical container is about is leading you through the Mercury retrograde process and magic. Mercury also has to do with your voice. So it has a lot to do with your perception of reality, right? Like, the words that you speak is the house that you live in. The things that you're thinking every day is what creates, your personality, which is your personal reality. So, this is also about your voice, your self-expression, how you see the world, how you see yourself, and how you assert how you express your will, right? Because that's what the throat chakra is about. It's your expression of will. It's it's self-expression, essentially. So I just want to get on here and riff about that, let you guys know that it actually officially happened last night. So 3 days before, 3 days after is where we, will usually see some sort of initiation into this process. If this is something that is speaking to you, if this is something that you want to get into, reach out to me. If you want to work with me one-on-one, I actually have 3 one-on-one spaces for people that want to work with me in private mentorship. It's my Soul Glam mentorship container. I have 3 spaces available, and actually I have something really fucking fabulous that I'm not going to share quite yet, that I'm fine-tuning and clarifying, and but it's there. And so something super juicy that isn't. So my one-on-one containers are a 3-month commitment, meaning I very rarely, if ever, do one-off sessions anymore, just because the work, I like working deep, right? Like to me, this is about you're either all in on, on your fucking soul work or you're not. And I don't feel that it really serves me or it serves my clients to do these one-off sessions. Every now and again I do it when because everything's always changing, right? So this thing that I've got coming in is it's not like a 3-month container. It's something kind of in between. So if this is something that you're already like, oh my God, I want to do that, just reach out to me, before because there are going to be limited spots available for this. And it's so fucking juicy. Like it's so fucking good. So, you're welcome. You're welcome. Does anybody have any questions? Iridescent Afro, I love that name. Bone Marrow Soup, Milena, Asylum, Kashif. Anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I have to get ready for my session inside Lift the Veil. I'm super, super stoked. We're going to be working all with the Pussy Portal module within Lift the Veil, working with the moon space, with dreams, with the Akashic records, dream lover type stuff. So getting ready for that goddess invocation style. But I have a couple of minutes. If you guys have any questions, I can answer for you. And if you have any questions, you can just always, hashtag replay or, put them in the comments. And I believe I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Stephanie Pierre. I am the creator of Star Disco, and I do a lot of different things. I wear a lot of different hats. That's just how I roll. It's so much easier just to introduce myself as that than be like, I'm a doctor, I'm a singer, I'm a this, I'm a that, because, we're all of it. We're all of it. And I weave all of them together. Like that for me is the magic, is whatever I'm into, right? Because it's like, what am I into now? What am I going through in what have I gone through and come out the other side of? That's, what I'm about. That's what I'm jamming about. Okay. So I don't think you guys have any questions right now, which is cool. So I'll talk to you later. Mwah. Bye.